now that we're on the topic of blogs, let's read this one that I wrote. It's dated 2011. Okay, November. How to be a vegetarian and not be a pretentious asshole. Is that sign language for do me? Okay, for the animals. It's Jared Leto. A quick overview of my life as a vegetarian. I rarely talk about vegetarianism like religion. I think it's something better left unsaid and less asked. Sometimes people do ask. Usually when they catch me ordering a large vegetarian, I always thought that sounded more like a date order than a food order, and I'm tempted to throw in a hot and spicy up in there. And then I'll answer their questions, but once in a blue moon, I will see something so cruel and outrageous done to animals that I feel compelled to speak. Oh yeah, like, you like hurting animals? How do you like a knuckle sandwich? And then I put a tofurkey sandwich on my fist and punched them in the mouth. As a child, I really liked all animals, especially pigs, and by age 5, in combo with meeting some really sweet Swiss cows, I decided I could no longer eat red meat. These creatures were magnificent. They didn't need cages, they needed bumpets and boas to show off how fabulous they really were. I didn't eat red meat for nearly a decade until I dated this D-bag, and I wanted to be rude to his family. Oh yeah, there was one hamburger. One, you guys. By 16, got the best of me. Damn you, sexy Jared Leto, and oh so sad Sarah McLachlan songs. And as I waited for my chicken pasta to cool down, I started to read a pamphlet that was left lying around. It happened to be about the cruelties against chicken, and I looked at the pamphlet, then the pasta, and I couldn't go on. I gave up chicken and fish and the rest of the meat in total and remained solidly vegetarian for 5 years. One day I went to a Chinese restaurant on acid. This is 98% of the time a terrible idea. I've been appreciating the beautiful fish in the tank in the Chinese restaurant, and all of a sudden it came sizzling by next to me by my head. Having nearly puked at the time, it helped solidify my vegetarianism even further. It wasn't even emotional at all. For me, acid never is. It's just gross to think about that carcass is sizzling next to your head. If that was a person, you'd be like, oh my god, tuck and roll, oh no, Johnny, no, why? And then proceed to give mouth to mouth in vain, probably writing a nasty Yelp review in all caps to complain about the place that serves people. 2 stars, that'll teach them. But it's become so normalized in animals that we don't even bat an eye. Rape. 100% valid, not neurotic reason to eat meat. This year I've eaten 3 tuna sandwiches. Honestly, I hate to say it, but my body really feels like it needs a little fish to be okay. Also, I hate dolphins. As we know from the story of Selena and Yolanda, the only thing that comes in the way of love is hate. Yoda and my recent vendetta against dolphins. You know how gross they are until you see a skin-colored one naked leaping out of the water in your little boat in the Amazon. Like a bus flasher, it jumped with a forceful bout of sexuality. Dolphins are flamboyant sharks at best, chipper rapists at worst. For real, they rape people, and people rape them, and then they laugh in your face. Why, flipper, why? So a bonus to my tuna sandwich might be that I took down a disgusting dolphin on the way. Not that I meant to, but it might have happened. Obviously, my almost 20 years of vegetarianism had been in perfect practice, but I also believed in adapting life and learning from it. So do what you want and just don't resist vegetarianism because you think you have to grow dreads and smoke a peace pipe or be a complete, utter pretentious tool. Those are optional, yes, but honestly, an animal doesn't give a fuck what your jaded college experience rendered you or how you think that anti-cool is a new cool, because fool, you just bit their face. Other valid reasons, you need to medically. 2, you think animals are assholes. That's because you're a serial killer, so stick to your Captain Crunch and get out of my face, sicko. Obligatory carnivorism. This has been a debate for a long time. Buddha supposedly died after dining on meat out of politeness for the preparer. I didn't die, but I ate the meat because I didn't want the family to feel that I was judging their choices in an awkward moment when I declined meat, but I've come to let their interpretation be their own. Elitism and vegetarianism. Some people use their diet choice as a placeholder for their personality, like certain protesters. These people vampire for the cause, for their own image, needs deteriorating from others, joining and usually quitting altogether. Now, I have given up their practice and they've ruined others' open-mindedness. The cause because it looks like the only way to be vegetarian is to dumpster dive for lentils and then talk about it all day long. No big deal. Thanks, hipsters. Note from rats. Dear hipster human, your rat tails are offending us, the rat community. Please cut them off or rename them. Also, you need a bath. Thank you, Shredder. The Rat Council Behind the Fridge, 2011. Reasons you can try it. Love of animals. I love animals, no doubt. As a kid, I fantasized about building a big tent for all the animals to hang out under during a rainstorm. And I also worked diligently to speak cat, and I'd help record a radio show hosted by 2 pet snails, Wilson and Webster. Okay, it wasn't the most riveting programming, but they tried their best, and I think the breakdown of the economic influence over Croatia was spot on. I have also owned a shit ton of animals, including a refugee goat named Mufifi. That's a name, fuck you. And 8 ladybugs, one of which I microwaved because it was frozen and I was 5. It lived and flew off, probably to make mutant radioactive babies. Sorry about that. The world, I'm sure they took a huge and terrifying. On the plus side, they're probably fighting crime and eating pizza in a pack cowabunga. The beauty of divorced parents is you usually manipulate your way into a whole menagerie if you play your cards right. So kids and out-of-work college grads, work on that. Animals can be D-bags too. Any cat owner knows this. Last night my cat jumped on my freshly made mashed potatoes, but they're also sort of awesome, so show them love. Sad bee. I don't know what happened. I just called her honey. Logic. Eating meat is unnecessary to survival in America. It has become unnecessary. I'd be the first one munching down on the endangered species burger, no questions asked. I guess the thing is, I can never get over this. I mean, it's unnecessary death straight up. I'm not talking about hurting a bee's feelings here. I'm talking your meal killed someone. That's sort of intense. And then on top of that, you complain that it was overcooked. I don't want to die to be someone's meal. That's terrifying, and exactly why no one is friends with Hannibal Lecter. I'm sorry, Dr. Hannibal Lecter. And I don't want to kill just because I'd rather not think about that fact. We can argue how humans are better and it's our right all day, but at the end of the day, no one's going to change the fact that death scares and hurts us all equally. And behind every brown cow is where our school is. I like Earth. I'm not going to spout off the statistics on how bad eating meat is for the environment, but like mummies and herpes, they're the only thing that are terrifying. Eating cows takes a lot of resources. It's a huge waste of land and water. Huge, huge, huge. If you want to see that, you can go to a place I recommend driving through between Highway 5, NorCal, and SoCal. It's called Cowlinga. It's essentially Auschwitz for cows, Cowschwitz. The fact that people truly live there astonishes me, and it's the grossest, stinkiest, most dismal place ever. I even hesitate to get gas there out of fear that I'll somehow be forced to live there forever. Unfounded maybe, but terrifying prospect nonetheless. How? Now picture our Earth as Cowlinga. Gross. It looks like what the world would look like if Rapture were a thing. Now punch your Big Mac and say, you did this. Health. For reals, too much meat is not a good thing. I'm not saying you have to start resembling the people at the health food store who are clearly dying from their ginkgo biloba and heroin diet, but moderation is probably your best interest. They're making fun of heroin right there. Veganism. Personally, I've never felt compelled to be a vegan. I totally respect it. You hear that, Jared Leto? Totally respect it. If you want to take your shirt off, I mean, to talk about it, we can do that. But for me, I'm sort of okay with being mildly dickish to animals, and most things really are. I'm responsible with my choices, and I try to buy free-range products wherever I can. The difference between free-range and cage-free is about a foot, but it's a hell of a lot better than a caged animal whose feet get gnarled from never having seen the light of day. And unlike humans, it's not because they're playing World of Warcraft. I have an unusually fast metabolism that just won't quit, and I've always been underweight for the past 20 years as a result, so it would be an unhealthy choice for me to convert to this practice. Also, I really like cheese. But if you do it and you're willing, awesome, Possum. Me and Possum salute you. Okay, Possum can't see you. He went blind like 2 years ago. So he's just going to keep sniffing those leaves over there. But in his heart, for real, pretty stoked that you won't be using his back hair for a scarf. Narg, don't be looking back at my back hair, matey. If I had a dime for every time I said that. Okay. Hunting. Some people call it a sport, but that's like chasing your little brother with a BB gun for a sport, or what I used to tell my dad, that my messy room was art. I'm not buying it. However, I do enjoy fishing. I like it. The best way is stare into the void and no one can tell you to get off your ass and do something, because A, you are, and B, you're scaring the fish away. I practice catch and release, and here's my unconfessing justification. I have a lip ring, and I've pierced it myself. I know how bad it hurts. It's not that bad, and honestly, the fish like it. I like the new punk identity. Maybe it knew that the bait was a chick. Okay, fine, I'm an a-hole. Okay, damn. Realistically, this blog did nothing, so enjoy your Big Mac for real. I don't care, but maybe you'll consider the fact that not all of us are doing it and being D-bags about it. Meat cravings do wear off for reals, and actually I know people, believe it or not, who have some very convincing meat substitutes. So give up the giblets. Happy day. The giblets are saved. Okay.